Good afternoon, everyone. Here's your heads up look for severe weather and heavy rain for the Ozarks. This is published around noon on Tuesday, and this is the latest SPC outlook for severe weather. They will update it later on this afternoon. I probably won't show you that, but it probably won't change a whole lot. But just to let you know, you should check that website listed in the link if you're concerned about it being upgraded somewhere. But there's a level 1 and 2 area here. So Springfield is right here. And so we're right on the border between the level 1 and 2. So this 2 is what is still called a slight risk of severe weather. And you can see how it tapers off quite a bit as you head southeast during the progression of this line later on this evening. So, yeah, it is a definite severe weather risk. All hazards are possible. CSU has chimed in on the tornado risk today, and they're putting it from around Kansas City up to around Kirksville and into parts of Iowa, with the main hail risk, big hail, down there centered on Wichita Falls, Texas, and a pretty good wind risk. This is in part because we expect this to be a squall line with damaging winds along and ahead of it. And here's what the tornado outlook looks like from the SPC, which mirrors the risk area almost exactly. So this is a 2% risk here within 25 miles of a tornado. And keep in mind, and I'll show you the output here in a minute, that this is meant to be a squall line that advances toward southwest Missouri later on this evening. This is the morning look at Nadocast. It agrees wholeheartedly, in fact, ups it to 10% chance of a tornado from Kansas City up toward the Hannibal area, Quincy, that area. And just sort of broad brush brown is a 5% risk. So they are a little bit heavier handed on the tornado threat for later today. I did not check to see what their 12Z model run indicated for this, but it probably didn't change a whole lot. We'll take a look at, this is the HRRR simulated radar at various times. So at 6 p.m. this evening, we could have a few isolated storms out ahead of the main line. I don't anticipate those will be anything we need to worry about in particular. They may be severe thunderstorm warned. I don't think they qualify for the rogue thunderstorm tornado threat. But you can certainly see there's one line here with an outflow boundary it produced and another one forming out here in southeast Kansas. So if we look 3 hours later, this line in Kansas kind of surges towards Springfield. And there will be probably some severe weather located with this. It looks as though, and just looking at by the radar, simulated radar signatures, like if I go to midnight, you can just tell by the look at this that these are still pretty good thunderstorms, but they're probably not particularly severe much anymore by that time. However, on a small scale, things do change, so you certainly want to be watching out. There will be severe thunderstorm warnings in any of these lines, I'm sure. The tornado threat, a little more speculative and more likely when these lines first form instead of after they get going. The flood watch that's in effect does include Springfield and includes pretty much everything, roughly north and west of I-44, but it does go down to Newton and McDonald County and covers much of eastern Kansas and a good chunk of Oklahoma, too. These are flash flood warnings, by the way, that were in effect when I froze the graphic. If we're looking at the QPF, which is the total quantitative precipitation forecast issued by issued by the Weather Prediction Center, they're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 inches across southwest Missouri, with 4 to 5 inch totals, or maybe even higher, especially centered on center and southern Oklahoma. If I show you the model output, the last two things we'll look at here. Here's the HRRR through Wednesday. Total precipitation, Springfield is fitting at 5 inches, and it's almost 5 inches in Rolla, and there are pockets in here where it goes above 5, even to 6. So that is, again, completely dependent on where exactly these thunderstorm lines lay down, and then sometimes that's not known with ultimate precision, but pretty close. And in fact, if we look at the NAM model, it shifts the more broad, heavier band of precipitation in central Missouri. So in that yellow area there, you're talking about 4, and in this area here, 6, and maybe even 7 or 8 inches locally. So there certainly is the potential for heavier precipitation in pockets across parts of Missouri, maybe southwest Missouri. Notice that Springfield here is only at 3.1, whereas the other model had 5. So again, it all depends on where these models lay down these streaks. And so it's anybody's guess. So that's why a broad brush forecast like the first one I showed you, is probably what you should be going with. And that's through Wednesday. We do have additional rain chances later in the week.